Are y'all helping? Are y'all helping? Alright, there's a million things I should be doing, including several videos I'm working on, I swear. But I'm in love with this fabric, and also I want to copy this old flannel shirt that I don't have a summer version of anymore because I gave it away to a kid. So let's copy a shirt, yeah? And by copy, of course, I mean like use as inspiration, but whatever, I'll learn some stuff. So it looks like I could maybe save the border for another purpose and use for another purpose later in the shirt and use that fabric as the body and sleeves. And I'm gonna have to make a slope for the shoulder and curved armholes. And I feel like the curve on the bottom of the shirt seems important to the style. You think so? Pippin! Pippin! Anyway, this is where we are right now because this is just how my brain works, okay? We've got two rectangles, a front and a back because we're doing boxy shape. We've got a curve cut on the bottom to match other shirt. We've got slope cut for shoulders because other shirt. So we're going to sew this into a tube. And then we're going to deal with the next step. One thing at a time. Very simple shapes. We have bunnies. And we have a shirt body. Haven't cut the neck yet. Haven't cut a front slit. Nothing. There's openings for the arms. But you know those crochet hexagon cardigans people are making? Well, they got me remembering how much I love the vertical striping on guayaberas, right? So I really wish I knew where my actual scissor size scissors were. But anyway, I cut two slits. I'm gonna use this from the edge of the fabric to sew into those slits and make stripes. So my usual seam finish. Bang two pieces together a little bit crooked, then wrap it around to stitch down. Now the good news is I found my bigger scissors. The annoying news is I should have done a much neater job of cutting through this fabric, but lesson learned, right? And also I'm really intrigued by this. I think this could be a really cool way to make shirts bigger, like, you know, a thrift flip or whatever, as opposed to starting from scratch. But that is not this video. That'll have to be some other video after I go to the secondhand shop. But intriguing possibility. Next up, I think next up we'll be adding a button placket to the front, although I'm not certain because it needs, well, the collar has to happen after the button placket, but it does still need sleeves. Do the sleeves happen next or do the buttons? So it seems like I went ahead and did the button placket and the buttonhole placket, and now we're sewing buttonholes in the only way I know how to do them, which is disastrously messy, but gradually getting better. Hopefully sturdy. Sturdy is what matters, right? So there we go. A million little knots. And also this texture is wonderful. Oh my goodness, I love it. But this texture will be, lack of texture will be better for summer because yay, breathable fabric. Alright, we have a shirt body that I'm in love with, that I'm not willing to deal with that top of the shoulder situation yet. We'll worry about that later. But we have a shirt body and real scissors and the shirt we're using for a pattern. And so I'm kind of squishing it so I can actually get the seam for the shoulder, the armhole seam where I need it to be, and then cutting it. Now it looks more shirt-like, although still obviously too tall due to this piece drama and the fact that I haven't cut a neck shape yet, but coming. I might be adjusting this fabric again. Anyway, cutting out sleeves. look, it's a sleeve shape. Remember to give yourself seam allowance. This is on the fold because this is on the fold. This gets seam allowance. And then, see there's pleats down here at the cuff. Give yourself wiggle room for that too. And then weird angle at the top. This is such a wasteful shape. I'm reminding myself I will use the waist, but oh, whoa. I thought my eyes were screwing with me. Look at this printing error. It's fantastic. I love it. Quick note about using intact articles of clothing for patterns. Like with this one, there's a box pleat on the back, but it's tiny, more decorative than anything else. But I'm cheerfully ignoring that. Oh wow, that's really lopsided. I'm cheerfully ignoring it because the vertical striping I put in the shirt adds width, so I don't need to worry about that. And also I couldn't figure out how to do vertical striping with this yoke, right? So ignoring it. Now with your shirt, assuming you're doing this, over here by the armpit, there might be a dart, which would be a folded triangle of fabric that you might or might not choose to imitate. Might be a dart in the front, more folded like diamond. That, again, maybe, maybe not. One thing I've never noticed before, even though I've tried to copy shirts multiple times, is here we go. Here we're at the cuff, right? And this, the bottom of the slit that goes into the cuff, does not line up with the seam under the arm. It's forward of it. Never noticed this before. Like, why would you cut a slit in perfectly good fabric? But also, it would feel nice when you buttoned your cuffs, if you ever did that. Which I don't, but as an experiment, I'm going to try and imitate this. Just because I feel special for having found it. Onward. Oh, that's right. I'm going to try really hard not to cut into the remaining rectangle of this fabric. So here's a scrap from cutting sleeves. And we're going to try and make both cuffs out of it, so they will just be this size. On this channel, everything gets hand sewn, and we don't bother trying to hide it. So, well, there we go. I cut the slit and didn't bother putting extra fabric on it because I didn't want to deal with that. I just folded the edges back and did some buttonhole stitch at the end of the slit. And then this piece of fabric is the cuff I just showed you. Folded in half, folded under on the ends, folded under here, and stuff the end of the shirt in it. See? Just stuff it on in there, and it will be just fine. Alright, we're at the shoulder, and I tried to just wiggle it in, but it's kind of lumpy. And so I'm actually going to unpick the shoulder seam and trim everything off level and then sew it up again. Which is what I'll do if we do a thrift flip or make a shirt bigger with this vertical striping trick. In my effort to use up all of the teeny tiny scraps, we are, incredibly enough, piecing the breast pockets. And there'll be another piece up here for the top bit, because I like the top bit on pockets. I'm making tiny pocket pieces in order to avoid working on the collar because I find the collar intimidating. Yes, almost certainly. And these, on the other hand, are adorable. Yay, adorable. I'm doing a lot of, oh god, is this top stitching? I think it might be top stitching on this piece because, hold on a second. Okay, so this is the top part of the pocket. Come here, you. Which will go over this. Because if I'm going to do it just for the aesthetics, I'm going to make it pretty. And then this gets a buttonhole, and that gets a button. And I didn't have a big enough scrap of the pattern going the correct direction to make this, but I think it works out okay. This is made, see, just long rectangle, and then you see I stitched the pointy shape on it, and then turned it out, pokeyed the corners, and that's why I'm top stitching it into submission, so that all the shape will stay. And also the shape will probably hold because there's a lot of extra fabric in there. And like, breast pockets are useless, but I feel like they're an important visual component here. And so it'll be nice, and also it'll break up the vertical line of the stripe, which feels like another cool detail. Oh my goodness, I'm so in love with this. I've realized I'm not actually a vest person. I'm a tank top and something over it person. And this is perfect for keeping the sun off and keeping the bugs off and looking so comfy, cozy, wonderful in the summer because, yeah, I live in the South, y'all. We need something lightweight. So I'm gonna lay this on the floor and this on the floor and cut a curve for the neck, probably deeper in the front than the back, but the back needs cutting so it can sit square on your shoulders, right? Because your neck is three-dimensional just like the rest of you. And then on to the collar, and I find myself very grateful for the plaid pattern on this because I can see that the collar is just rectangles with a very slight angle on the bigger rectangle. And also I see, look, I have the opportunity to put more buttons on this. That's making me irrationally happy. So this part feels thicker than this part. I'm not using interfacing because I'm me, and that would require buying things and ironing things, and no. So I have this remaining from from the sleeves being shorter than the shirt, right? And so there was a rectangle down below the cuffs that is plenty big enough. Well, would be plenty big enough if it was one thickness. It's not going to be a single thickness, so I'll get as much out of it as I can to get a that wide that goes all the way around, and then a slightly shorter but with an angle on it that goes all the way around the neck hole. Hey bunny wunny baby, are you glad the shirt is almost done and we can do the next project? You don't care, do you? What about you, Pippin? Whoa! I confirmed that this is enough to go around, but not to form a proper thickness, right? So I think I'll be stuffing it with a scrap of bed sheet from my mending scraps pile, like for patches or whatever, from over there. So, bed sheet inside the collar to add stiffness. Let's see how that goes.
Okay. We're rolling.
Okay. All right, is it giving Simon and Garfunkel vibes? Yes, I'm okay with this. Is it comfortable? Yes. I'm standing outside in a triple-digit heat index in a long sleeve button-up shirt, and I'm cool. I'm good. This is awesome. I love the color. I'm always going to wear the sleeves rolled up, probably, but yay. And are the arm size comically low? Yes. Yes, they are. They were on the source material. I just didn't notice. I'll probably correct that the next time I make one. And how yours turns out will depend on your source material. And that's perfectly cool. So anyway, I love y'all. Ooh, I do want to show you something. This is a tropical guava flower. And there's a flower bud. And here's yesterday's flowers that I hopefully pollinated, or a bee did. And all of this is on a 3-year-old from seed plant that I got from some fruit that came in the mail, living in a darn recycling bin, patiently waiting for me to build it a greenhouse. Can you believe I might get fruit from, oh my goodness, that would be so exciting. Also, tropical guava, it spent almost all of last winter on the back porch, except for that one really bad cold spill. So I am really freaking excited about flowers. If we get fruit, that's a freaking miracle. So, wish me luck with this endeavor. Look how pretty she is. Yeah, she is. She's so good. That's a lotus, because there's a bucket behind it with a frog puddle in it. Everything's crammed together. All right, I love y'all. I'll see you again soon.